Pinocchio, the new stop-motion animated film by Guillermo del Toro. This work is a retelling of the classic story about the wooden boy that comes to life. What can I say about this new interpretation of the iconic tale? Well, I gotta say I loved this film, it was fantastic. The stop-motion animation is incredible, top-notch. It was, without a doubt, the best choice for this Pinocchio story. All the characters are so detailed, I loved their designs, they are so expressive. Their gestures and the sequences are a joy to behold, it was spectacular. There are so many shots that look like beautiful paintings. You can feel the level of craftsmanship that went into every frame. It is evident this movie is a passion project. Del Toro put all his heart into it. The plot takes place in Italy during the Great War and later during World War II. Master carpenter Geppetto loses his son Carlo in a bombing. After years of enduring the deepest sorrow that comes from the loss of a child, Geppetto gets drunk one night. In a fit of rage and despair, he creates Pinocchio to fill the void that Carlo left. This scene was dark, it looked straight out of a Frankenstein movie, it was intense. A forest spirit, seeing the pain Geppetto has been going through, breathes life into the puppet to keep the poor man company the last years of his life. And of course I have to mention a third character here, the one and only Sebastian J. Cricket as Pinocchio's conscience. I loved all the characters and performances. Pinocchio is so likable, he's curious about the world around him and he gets excited about everything.
Then I have something I'd like to give you. Ta-da!
I love it, Papa! I love it, I love it, I love it! What is it?
This character is bursting with energy, which creates a compelling dynamic. The other characters work as counterweights for this immense energy. From his father, who gets frustrated at him because of his disruptive nature,
Stop fidgeting, please.
to Sebastian, who tries to teach him right from wrong while the boy tests his patience.
No, he told you to stay.
No.
Please, stop! You must obey your papa.
Obey?
Do as you're told.
But I don't want to obey.
The story matches the visuals in quality, it's a perfect combination. It is a great journey of self-discovery in which Pinocchio has to deal with the ugly side of the world. It's touching, impactful and deals with deep subjects. The atmosphere of the movie is a mix of magical with macabre. Another thing I liked was the humor. Since the movie deals with dark themes, the jokes and light-hearted moments kept things balanced. Pinocchio has to face two villains during the course of the film, Count Volpe and Podesta. Count Volpe is almost a cartoon devil. I liked that aspect of the character. Christoph Waltz's performance was delightful. His character has sort of a fake charm, which turns out can be funny.
See? He gave me Carlo's book.
Carlo's book. Yes. A classical canonical work.
His main goal is to enslave Pinocchio and make him the star of his puppet show. Because of his bottomless greed, Volpe wants to squeeze Pinocchio down to the last lira. On the other hand, there's Podesta, the fascist military man, the face of the cold state. He sees Pinocchio as the perfect weapon of war, an immortal puppet that he can wield to destroy countless lives in the battlefield. Both characters were interesting antagonists. The basic elements of Pinocchio are in place, all the puzzle pieces are here, but this movie takes them and creates a fresh picture with them, especially when it comes to the way it handles the themes. I highly recommend this movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you don't like stop-motion animation, try to give this one a chance. I think it will give you a pleasant surprise. For the rest of the video, I want to talk about the theme of Pinocchio. This is the aspect that I found most interesting and refreshing. Of course, there are multiple interpretations and different perspectives, but this is what I got from it. This film is full of ideas. Free will, the innocence and boundless energy of a child, how these traits clash with the world, the spirit of rebellion, mortality. It explores so many things, but there is one philosophical concept that underpins everything, which is the reason why the movie works and the narrative doesn't feel diluted. This story is wrestling with the meaning of life in the face of enormous suffering. That's the central idea. There's one key scene where Sebastian is making himself comfortable in his new home and you see him arranging a tiny portrait. The man in that portrait is no other than German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. That's the anchor of the movie. The story explores the green worldview presented by Schopenhauer's philosophy. To give you a little background, scholars have described Schopenhauer's works as philosophical pessimism. For a pessimist philosopher, life itself is torture, and they answer the proverbial question, to be or not to be, with a resounding no. To dig deeper on Pinocchio's theme, it is important to frame it within the context of Schopenhauer's thinking. For Schopenhauer, existence is a nightmare filled to the brim with endless pain, a ceaseless striving that produces immense suffering, despair, and if you're lucky, if you somehow find a small pleasure, if you find momentary relief from your torment, you'll meet your new adversary, tedium, being bored. There are a lot of great Schopenhauer quotes about the horror of existence, but this one captures the message with a lot of precision. Young Hun saw an immense field entirely covered with skeletons and took it to be a battlefield. However, they were nothing but skeletons of large turtles, 5 feet long, 3 feet broad, and of equal height. These turtles come this way from the sea in order to lay their eggs and are then seized by wild dogs. With their united strength, these dogs lay them on their backs, tear open their lower armor, the small scales of the belly, and devour them alive. But then a tiger often pounces on the dogs. Now all this misery is repeated thousands and thousands of times, year in, year out. For this then are these turtles born. For what offense must they suffer this agony? What is the point of the whole scene of horror? You can see this reality portrayed in the film. It shows you the brutal side of existence using the 20th century as the canvas, which was the bloodiest in history. You see clearly how in this world children are blown to pieces during war, while other children are raised for war, trained to take the lives of other human beings.
Wow! What's all this?
The Elite Military Project for Special Patriotic Youth.
What's an elite?
We are. We're gonna learn to be elite soldiers.
In the meantime, families grieve the worst of losses. It wasn't necessary to show every pain, every evil inflicted on humanity. Just the scene of Geppetto visiting Carlos' grave is enough to make the message crystal clear.
What kind of place is this?
This is the place Pinocchio has been thrown into, the kind of world that wants to tear him apart. He has to face this reality, no sugarcoating here. This is also the perfect mirror for us. It creates an interesting question. How different is the real world compared to what Pinocchio is showing us?
One night we were late getting to the station, and I saw the sunset for the first time in months. It's the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. But it wasn't a sunset at all. The sky was on fire.
This story takes a perpetually enthusiastic, naive, and rebellious protagonist and makes him clash with the horrible conditions of existence. He rebels against his greedy slave master. He rebels against the bloodthirsty tyranny of the state. Pinocchio does all of that because he is a real boy.
An independent thinker, I'd say.
He doesn't have to prove anything. He already embodies the qualities of the noble human being, the spirit of compassion and love. At his core, this is a character that doesn't need to change. He is good. All the other characters are the ones who change for the better by accepting Pinocchio as he really is. That's really moving. Spazzatura and Candlewick change, they rebel too. Geppetto finally embraces the unique qualities of Pinocchio instead of forcing him to be like Carlo. Sebastian gives his one wish to bring back Pinocchio. This part is especially compelling because Sebastian is the most pessimistic character.
Oh, the pain! Life is such hideous pain.
But after having gone through hell and back with his wooden friend, after witnessing Pinocchio's ultimate sacrifice, he finally says this.
Oh, life is such a wonderful gift.
What about Pinocchio? In the end, he sacrificed everything without a second thought. At the beginning of the story, he makes some mistakes. He lies, he is tempted to go to the carnival, but after that, at every turn, all the choices he makes are motivated by the love he feels for his dad. I think that's what the movie is about. Your family and your friends are everything you've got in this world. They are the key to endure all the suffering existence throws at you, perhaps even rise above it. That's the antidote the film is offering. Is it enough? You be the judge, and remember,
What happens, happens. And then we are gone.